Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Logical Nonsense Podcast. Today we have Adam Dash on from Soundcentric and Soundcentric Podcast. Very excited. We're going to get into the top 5 hip hop albums of the 2020s, as well as a little bit of a new segment on this channel, Hall of Fame, Yay or Nay, going through a plethora of different artists, different
Excited.
soundscapes. Very excited to have him on. Make some dope content. I'll let him introduce himself and what he does over there.
That was a great introduction. Thank you. I'm so happy to be on. I love going on other podcasts and seeing other people who, as we were just talking about, know the grind of doing
Yes,
this by
sir.
yourself
Yes,
and
sir.
just loving what you talk about. I see you on TikTok with all your sports and breaking it down. And my favorite thing in the world is seeing other people nerd out about what they love to nerd out about.
Definitely.
Uh, it's the most fun thing in the world. But yeah, I've been running sound-centric music for 2 years. I started with 3 people, including myself, went down to 2 within a couple months, and my past co-host had to leave for his own professional matters to start his career in medicine, and I've taken that torch, and we're still rocking with it. It's my favorite thing in the world to
Still
talk about
riding.
music. Yeah, sound-centric, let's ride.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
God the Eagles, as I'm rocking my Fletcher Cox jersey, the GOAT. Thank God the Eagles did not get Russell Wilson. We got Jalen Hurts.
Hey, man, it hurts. I'm a Broncos fan, so it
Oh,
hurts, man. It
my
hurts
bad.
big time. No, no, no. You don't need it. You don't need to say you're bad. My heart's broken. It's been like I don't have a soul anymore. So
Yeah.
we're good there. We're good. Nothing you can say will heal my heart. So
You
you're
got
good.
a
But
Super Bowl, like, pretty recently. That's all you can hope
yeah,
for.
like, it's now been 8 years, but yeah.
Within the decade, you got bragging
Yeah,
rights.
within the decade. I can't complain. I know there's gonna be people who have never seen a Super Bowl in their entire lifetime, so I can't
Cowboys
complain.
fans.
Exactly.
That was my s
Exactly.
that Pack
Cowboys hate already. I love it.
that Packers game was my Super Bowl.
Oh, I love it. I love So, yeah, where can people find you just before we get
Yes.
started?
You can find the Sound-Centric podcast on all streaming platforms. I'm on Twitter heavily. I'm addicted to Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it. Adam dash underscore DASH, not the hyphen. And you can look up Sound-Centric Music on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I post in Reddit subboards if I'm talking about a certain artist and they have a big following. And yeah, if you love hip hop, I'm addicted to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just talking with him before this. Interviews are insane, brings on some really cool guests as well as the Rhyme Report, which is probably my favorite
Thank you.
content he makes
Thank
weekly.
you. I'll just explain what the rhyme report is, just if someone was listening.
Yeah.
If you like Saturday Night Live and just kind of that comedy news format, my idea was just to break down hip hop news every week into a funny format. So breaking down Drake and the big news, Kanye making everyone buy his album for $20 and
Oh, yeah.
all the Playboy Cardi never dropping music, even though I'm not a Cardi fan, so I don't really care. But it's fun
Yeah, neither do I.
to to kind of mess around with some Cardi fans because they are some sad folks.
They are loyal, man. That is a
It's
group that I haven't gotten in heated battles with yet, but I also haven't really hurt their feelings yet,
yeah.
so we'll get there. We'll get there one day. All right, so let's hop into this top 5 hip hop albums of the 2020s. Before we get into the top 5, do you have any honorable mentions you'd like to shout out?
It might be easier for me to do honorable mentions after because I didn't write down my list and I'm thinking right now quickly. So I think some things will come up like, "Oh, damn, that should have been top 5 of the decade."
Okay. Okay, totally fine. So I'll go with my number 5. My number 5 is going to be Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Okay.
Um, very, very vulnerable project from Kendrick. Not everyone's liking. I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of mixed reviews on it because, Kendrick has been kind of masterful in the past of making vulnerable projects, more lyrical
Mhm.
projects, but making them sound really mainstream and making them sound like, hits that you can play on the radio, that you can vibe out
100%,
to.
yeah.
You look at Damn, you look at uh, To Pimp a Butterfly, some of the tracks on there, and even, of course, Good Kid, Mad City. I mean, banger after banger, right? But then you look at the actual stories of those songs, and those are great. This one
You
didn't have quite the mainstream,
yeah.
hits, but I really enjoyed the story he told. We had a 5-year wait or however long it was, and I feel like he delivered probably some of the most vulnerable rap we've heard from him, and I
100%.
just really appreciated that
Yeah.
because somebody at his magnitude can really go wherever direction he wants,
Mhm.
and he brings us with basically this therapeutic session of rap, and
Yeah,
I loved it. I thought it was really cool. It would have been higher, I think, if it was one of those albums where, I messed with it, but,
yeah,
if I could, just listen to it every day, you know what I'm
yes.
saying?
I think it will end up I'm gonna put it as an honorable mention. It's an amazing album, and I literally just discussed this on the podcast episode I just recorded before this with my
I
guest,
love that.
that Kendrick's number 1 superpower to me is his ability to make a album or song with such a deep message that has that replay value.
Yep.
The fact that a song like Swimming Pools is a drinking anthem, but is an anti-drinking song, or
It's crazy.
a song like All Right can be the
Yep,
hugest song for a whole Black Lives Matter movement, but
yep.
I'm playing it at the gym, and there's a way to listen to it casually, but also if you wanna really get into that message, you can. I think that's Kendrick's, he's just really good at making music and songs like that. That being
Yeah,
said,
he's a master at it. He's a
amazing.
master at it. I mean,
Mis
who
Mr.
else can do that?
Like, Drake can't do the social message part, but he can do the catchy part. I
Yep.
think Cole can, but doesn't do
He
it
has the
as a
ability.
has the ability to. I just don't think he tackles those deep messages, and I think that's where Mr. Morale fell short for me because no,
Yeah.
it wasn't made for me. I accept that. There's
Yeah,
some albums that I wasn't meant to relate to that. I can relate to certain underlying emotions in the album, but
definitely.
I can't necessarily relate to experience with his auntie and
Yeah,
some of these things.
exactly.
So
Yep.
it's like it's the debate of it's an amazing album, but I also want albums I do wanna replay.
Yeah,
So it's like love amazing, beautiful art music, but there's certain albums that I actually that are less deep that I replay more.
definitely, definitely.
So,
Go ahead, sorry.
like, what songs do you still go back to on there? Because there's only about for me,
I really
I like that
liked,
too.
at first I was messing a lot with, Father Time. I like that song a lot. I thought that was a
Yes,
dope song
great
with
song.
the, Sampler feature, correct?
Yeah.
I like the, I can't I'm blanking on the name of it, the one with Kodak. I messed with
Silent
that
Hill,
one.
that's the one I would name, that's my
Silent Hill,
favorite.
I love that one a lot. And then I also really liked both Saviors with Baby Keem.
Mhm,
Um, ye and then I'm pulling up the album right now.
yeah.
Um,
I like Count Me Out a lot. I think that's the
oh,
first
Die
part.
Hard. Die Hard is my favorite by far on the
Really?
album.
I didn't
I think that's such a summer song to me. It's
okay,
just
I can
very
see it.
vibey and just, to me, it has a lot of replayability. So
It
that's probably my favorite song on the album.
There are 2 songs on there, so Die Hard and Purple Hearts, that I think were his attempt to make replayable songs. That being
Yeah.
said, I thought they were when I say worst, it's a bad way to describe it because 'cause they're not bad,
Ooh.
but I think they're his
Yeah,
worst attempts at
they're the
making
weaker ones.
a catchy song because, I don't know, the Milky, Milky Cocoa Puff, like, that's just not my thing with that song on Purple Hearts.
Really?
It's just
Interesting.
just
Okay.
not my favorite Kendrick. That being said, he's debatably the GOAT, so, like, a bad album for him, same thing like Kanye
Yeah.
or Cole, like, a bad album's an amazing album for anyone else, but
Yeah.
admirable choice.
Yeah, and I mean, I also I didn't I wasn't a fan of Hearts either. I think that's, one of the weaker ones on the track. Count Me Out was another one that I messed with, but I could see where people could find it annoying.
Yeah,
Like you said, though, it's not for everyone. It
yeah,
really wasn't. It was also one of those times in my life where I also, I felt like I was really working on myself, and it, just came out at the perfect time.
I
So, it would've been higher if there
I
was
get it.
more replayability, but, something to be said about
Yeah,
where you are when it comes out, so
certain albums are meant for different vibes. You're not gonna bump it in the
yep,
gym, but there's certain albums that may made my list that I play in the gym, and
yeah,
some things you play when you're, in your bag, so I get it.
absolutely. Alright, what's your number 5?
Okay, let me look at my list because I didn't rank it. Okay. Number 5, I'm gonna go with Jordan Ward's album from this past year, More Word. So he if you don't know Jordan, he opened for Smino and JID on this past
Oh, dope.
tour. So those
Yep.
are 2 artists I am obsessed with,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I heard him, I thought he was the best opening act I've ever seen, so I instantly went to that album after, and it was my number 1 album of all of last year, easily,
Dang.
and I think just the recency bias is what's putting it at 5. This could be my favorite album of the decade. I'm not
Yeah,
sure yet. And I get it's a hot
yeah,
take, but people who do love this album, I think will understand. Like, it's a really good album.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I'll have to go listen to that. I can't comment too much because 'cause I'll be
Yeah,
honest, I'm I have not listened to that.
I get it, yo, up and coming artist, but type of guy where I heard it one time, I'm like, "Oh, this is my n" type of person where I sent the songs to all my friends, and
Yeah.
there's certain artists that get
Yo,
you
check
so
this guy
excited when
out.
you
Yeah,
find them, and that's what I live for.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check him out because I'm all about giving artists chance, giving opportunities. I do a lot of
Yeah,
album reviews on this channel. So
I think you'll mess
one
with
of my
it.
favorite things is to just listen through an album, hit the play button,
Yeah.
don't press pause or skip.
Song
So
songs to yeah, oh, people who shuffle albums are disgusting people.
oh my
Um,
god.
songs
Hate
2
it.
and songs 2 and 3 of that album have risen to be one of my favorite songs of all time. One's Fam Jam 3000. I should know the name of my a song I'm saying is one of my favorite of all
Yeah.
time. One's called IDC, I Don't Care, and one's called Fam Jam 4000, 5000. It's
Yeah.
one number, and once you get to those 2 songs, you'll be like, "I see what Adam was saying. That was a good one." So that's my
Okay.
number 5.
I like it. Okay, so I'm gonna go my honorable mentions right now. So
Okay.
these
I
ones
figured
were
out
tough for me. Like honorable mentions for me were tough because I could have honestly like honorable mentions through like number 3. I feel like I could have interchangeably put any of those in there. My honorable
mhm,
mentions I have Run the Jewels. Um
fire.
Great album. Just the soundscapes, Killer Mike, LP, greatness, just
Goats.
beautiful, beautiful album. I also have Call Me If You Get Lost, which I see in your background back there, right there.
So it may or may not enter these
Be in
rankings.
your
We'll
list.
see. We'll see.
I love the album. If I didn't know if I could cheat or not, if I could add the deluxe as well, absolutely top 5.
Okay.
If I
The
could
deluxe
add the deluxe with
the
it,
deluxe
it definitely would be
great.
in my top 5 because I mess heavy with the deluxe.
Mhm.
And then my other honorable mention is 2000 by Joey
Joey
Badass.
Badass. No, it's funny, I saw that on tour, and if you remember, his album got delayed,
Yeah,
and Philly was the first stop on his tour, and he
really.
just it sucked because I was expecting to hear, like, the new album, then go to the concert and get to hear it live, and he had to do, like, old music. That being said, it's Joey,
That's
so
I mean, like,
I was hyped.
it's still music that
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
good, but yeah, you just want the new stuff, yeah.
That was an
Dang.
amazing one. Were there any more for
Alright.
you?
The only other one that I had for honorable mention was Alfredo with, Freddie Gibbs.
You might have named another one on my list.
Dude, these I'm telling you, these were so close.
Yeah,
Like, I wanted to put them on my
yeah.
list. It's just like I honestly, when I was compiling this list, I didn't realize how many great albums we actually have gotten so far
Since when I
through
think
the
of
2020s.
2020 sounds so recent that I'm like, "Oh, that was my freshman year of college because I just graduated
I
last
know,
year." I'm like,
I
"Shit."
know.
So, for me, honorable mentions because this is 2020, "Circles" by Mac Miller. Uh,
Ooh, you'll hear
that's
that later.
one album that my Mac Miller top like, tiers list, I'm used to swimming's right here,
Oh, yeah.
switches every single day depending the vibe. Circles is an album that reminds me so much of freshman year of college that I cannot
Yep.
play it because I get really
So
sad.
weird.
I'm in
That's
my
so
dorm
weird.
room, and it's one of those albums I probably the only album I can't listen to because I get really sad listening to it.
Yeah.
I added also More Black Superheroes by West Side Boogie.
Okay.
That came out 2022, just incredible. He's like that
Yep.
Dreamville style artist if you need to be put on to him.
Yep.
Amazing. Then I wrote Love for Rent, Smino. I'm a huge Smino
Ooh,
fan.
I that is a very good album. That is a very good album.
Huge Smino fan. I'm trying to think what else came out in those years. Silk Sonic, I loved when it dropped. I'm a huge
Yep.
Anderson .Paak stan. I'm trying to go down my list of my favorite rappers who I'm forgetting. Maybe you'll mention more down this list. I
I was
think
gonna
Daniel
say,
Bad
we'll
Badass
see if
Mention.
I mention anyone that you forgot, but alright, we'll go to number 4. Number 4 for
Pressure on.
me, I have Circles, which you just mentioned.
Yes.
Um, I think you look at some of the I'm gonna say this wrong, I always say it wrong, post, humorous? No, post
Posthumous.
po
Posthumous? I say
posthumous?
posthumous. I don't know.
Posthumous. So Posthumous, you look at a lot of those albums, they're poorly executed, and I
Best
think
one
this
ever.
is one of the few examples where it's actually very well executed and
Yes.
executed to the standard of what Mac Miller would have wanted.
Mhm.
And like you said, it's just pure emotion. Like it also came out, funnily enough, in my freshman year as well, and so it just reminds me of this time where, like, it makes me sad, like, and but I I love the album. It's one of those albums where I feel like I can listen to it all the way
Yeah.
through. There's very few, like, skips, if any, at all.
Mhm,
I just thought it was really, really well done, and again, another vulnerable project by
mhm.
an artist. And then the whole concept of swimming in circles, genius. I
Perfect.
mean, it's just
Yeah.
I love it.
Hand-me-downs and surf. So, not to plug my podcast, but I brought someone on who wrote a book about Mac Miller's life named Donna Claire Chessman, who's
Saw
an
that.
incredible author, amazing book if you're a Mac Miller fan, and she got to go to the listening party for Circles and was like in the book, you hear stories about from, like, all of his collaborators and friends about it, and they made Swimming in Circles at the same time. So, there's certain songs on Circles that they were originally on Swimming and certain songs on Swimming,
Wow.
and they were just playing around with what sounded best. And it's crazy looking back at it now because it's like they chose perfectly. Every song on Swimming sounds like a swimming song, and every song on Circles sounds like a circle song.
Exactly.
And there were
It
album
almost yeah. That's crazy
right?
because
Like,
I can definitely decipher, like, with
there's a
I mean,
vibe to it.
obviously, I know the albums, right? But, like,
Yeah,
it does have a different tone or feel to it when you
yeah,
hear a circle song versus a swimming song for sure, so
yeah. And it's cool that like I think some of his friends were like self-care was originally not on the album. Like one of his friends didn't like self-care. And
really?
he's like looking back on it, it's like people's favorite song from Swimming. But
That's
what an
nuts, yeah.
I agree. I think it's the best posthumous album ever made because I mean, his family's not money grabbing, like, they knew John Bryan, the
No.
producer, they had
Yeah.
such a strong team around him, and that's just, like, the
Yeah.
person Mac Miller was clearly, because people
Yeah.
loved him, and kind of he was so collaborative, so people kind of had an
Yeah.
idea of where he wanted to go with it.
No, absolutely, and like I said, like, it can be easily poorly handled, like, I know this example always gets brought up, but you look at, like, some of Juice WRLD stuff, and I feel like a lot of
Yeah,
that has been very poorly handled and not
yeah,
executed correctly, and even some of, like, X's stuff that
mhm,
dropped afterward, I don't know, I just feel like there's been I could go on and on of examples of bad posthumous
yeah,
just music, so I'm just glad this one turned out really well, and I don't know, a lot of times, like, I feel disconnected to those certain albums, and
yeah,
this one, like, I felt like I was actually listening to a Mac Miller album.
100%, felt like Mac made it.
Yeah.
For me, at number 4, I got The Forever Story by JID.
Oh, it's
I'm
also
a
on my list. It's
oh, you
also
got
on my list.
I am a huge JID fan. That's one I was just talking about this. I have 20 rappers in my top 5. That being said,
Yeah, dude, it's
it's
tough.
like ranking the current wide receivers in the NFL. There's like 20
Yep,
top 5 wide receivers. Cole's
yep,
my GOAT. That's always like that's my top, but JID
yeah,
could be number 2. This album was one I was waiting for so long, and it
yep.
completely lived up to everything, and
Expectations, yeah.
I'm big on saying if you put JID in the '90s, they'd be like, "Oh, JID's like one of the best rappers ever." And because he's doing it now, we don't really talk about it. I think he's just so skilled. I'm big on thinking that rappers, they don't always have to be able to sing. There's rappers like Pusha T or like the
Yep,
Griselda Boys or straight rap. But I think having the
yep,
ability to be melodic and change it up on songs and make your song sound like it has a feature on it, that's something JID does so well. And he's singing his
yeah,
ass off. I mean,
yeah.
what an
I think
album.
the versatility, like you were just talking about, is just it's just is it's cool to see that, right? It's just
Yeah,
you don't see that with every, artist, and I think it's what makes him more of a music artist to have the different
yeah,
ability to sing and rap and go in different flows and different cadences, like, we saw that with him. We saw the versatility, we saw
yeah,
him experimenting with different sounds, and, experimenting on songs can go poorly very quickly, and it
yes.
didn't on this album at
Yeah.
all. Like,
His
it was all just I don't know, it felt perfect.
His ability to
So,
change his vocal inflection, it's one of those things that you don't know how hard it is until you try rapping yourself and sound not trying to sound cringy, going
yeah.
from a normal voice to a like a raging voice, like on Stick,
Mhm.
on that song, the way he's
Oh,
able to go into a yelling voice and then go back to a soft voice. There's just so many small things I can nerd out about that he does, like, he does a stutter on purpose where he'll go like, "Da da da
yep.
da damage," and just doing that
Yeah.
and having it on beat is a very hard thing to do when you're straight rapping, and he's just technically, like if someone said he's the GOAT, I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't argue it."
Well, and there's just, like, some crazy soundscapes in this album too, like Radar, like, putting
That
in a sample of, like, a ref in there and making it
that's
sound dope as fuck, like,
that's
who
from
else
his
can do that?
That's from his own football game because he played in college. So that's actually when they're saying, like, the whistle is, like, number 44, like, that's his number.
That's nuts. I
But
didn't know that. That's actually
yeah,
cool as shit. And then like crack sandwich, you get a story. Systonym, you get a story. Bruddonym, you get a
yeah.
story. Like
And
he can just
I'm
go
not a Lil
all
Durk
over the
fan.
place.
I'm not a Lil
What's
Durk
up?
fan. I kinda like the Lil Durk feature on there. I
I
actually
know.
really like that song. I'm not usually a Durk guy.
Neither am I. I mean, I think Dirk has his verses. I think honestly, I think Dirk's a better feature person than he is like a solo artist.
Yeah,
But I agree. I think the Dirk verse on there is great. I don't know. It's a
great
solid
album.
album, top to bottom. And then like, did you like Stars?
Of course, that's, like, the type of beat
Okay.
that I love. Put that in
I
headphones,
love that.
and
Yeah.
I really love the, switching into, like, the high pitch voice and, like, throughout the verse, and then Mos Def kills it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
surround sound getting its 2nd win. I'm always happy to
Yeah,
see
I
that again.
know. That's crazy to me. That like blew up out of nowhere. I'm like, this song's been out for a
I thought
long
it
time.
as a fan, I thought it was the perfect scenario because I ran that song into the ground already. Sometimes when, like, your
Yeah.
favorite artist gets a really
Yep.
popular song, you're like, "No,
Mhm.
this is a
You're
poppy
ruining
song."
it. You're ruining it. Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, I already ran into the ground." It's like, "Yo, Jid,
Yeah.
get your money. Let's go. Get your
Absolutely.
fans."
Yeah. What about I've had mixed reviews in this on this particular song, so I'm curious to pick your brain on
Yeah,
this. What about Just in Time with
love it.
Lil Wayne and Kenny Mason?
So that song, there's a Vanderbilt live performance of Jid that he did during COVID, and
Yeah.
I watched it so many times, and that was an unreleased he performed 2 unreleased songs in that video. That was
Yeah.
one of them. So that could
That's
have
dope.
changed my opinion on it because I'm like, "Please be on the album." So if
Yeah.
people heard that for the first time, they might have a different opinion on it. I love it. I'm also a huge Kenny Mason fan, so look at
I
his
love
stick,
Kenny
stick.
Mason, and I thought the Lil Wayne verse delivered too.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
a classic Wayne verse.
it was interesting though because I was watching something and it's the least played song on the album.
Surprising with
I
a Wayne
know.
feature.
Especially because like you said, like the Wayne feature, and then I also just feel like it's a good song. Like,
I don't I got
I
a
don't know,
time
it's
today,
interesting.
bitch. I got a time. Like, I don't know, it's hype
Yeah,
up. I played in
it's
the gym. I
very
enjoy it.
catchy, it's hype, like, it's just a
Yeah.
banger.
And Radar, what a
Yeah.
way to start an album. I got the shit you can play for
Radar,
your mama.
radar.
I got the shit you can play for the hoes. That's
Yeah, the voice fluctuations on that go crazy.
yeah, those are the
Oh,
small things in hip hop that I'm like, he just does everything that I want him to do. Like, I'm like, I would love Jid to do this, and he delivers. Always.
yep,
I need him to drop
absolutely.
that Jid and Metro album. I need him to drop Forever and a Day. We're gonna be eating this year.
I
Let's
love it.
hope.
I love it. Alright, going to number 3, I have "Melt Your Eyes, See Your Future" by Denzel Curry.
Okay.
Um, Very solid project. A few of these projects I revisited today just to make sure
Yeah.
my memory is fresh. Because I mean, like, I visit it quite a bit, but, I just like to have a fresh memory, and God, it just slaps, man. Like,
Mhm.
"Walking" might be his best song. I'll say it. 1, it has a message.
Mhm.
2, it's so vibey. The beat drop is nuts. After that beat drop, he just goes in. Keep on walking, no I mean,
Yeah.
the catchiness, I love that song, and then, I mean, there's so many great songs on this, Worst Comes to Worst, um, X-Wing, I mean, there's
X-Wing's I
I
like
just
that.
love the range in this, and I think another guy we talk about who delivers, he delivered again. I think
Yeah.
he's a very underrated artist that doesn't get talked about enough because his lyricism is great, he has great flows. We saw some versatility from him in this project too,
Yeah.
some more melodic stuff, so that
I
was
thought
dope too.
I thought the deluxe album where he did, like, all jazzy beats, I think it was really
Yeah,
cool that he did
yeah,
that. I'm not gonna, like, sit here and be like, I'm the biggest Denzel Curry fan. I really like him. I loved what Taboo, the album, when that
yeah,
came out the perfect time in my life for that message. So
yeah,
I like, that's, like, always my favorite album when I think of it, and, like, Red Balloons on that album or Black Balloons on
yep,
that album. But this
yep,
was it's a great project. If a Denzel
yeah,
like, I can see why Denzel fans would be very happy with it.
and honestly, this made me a Denzel Curry fan.
Okay.
Like, I really
Me
wasn't
too.
the biggest Denzel Curry fan, like, I liked Taboo, but I was it was good,
Yeah,
like, whatever. This made me really deep dive into his music.
yeah,
Obviously, now I fuck with Taboo and stuff like that, but this is, like, the album where I was like, "Damn, like, he's hella good."
yeah.
So,
He's the man.
alright, what's your number 3?
Number 3, I'm honestly switching my 2 and my 3. I think I'm lying to myself. So number 3, we will do Call Me If You Get Lost. I
Ooh.
huge Tyler fan. He's one of the best artists ever. Someone who can do a different style every single album. It's insane. Only Kanye West can compare in doing that in hip hop and doing it so effectively to the highest level. He said, "Y'all think I don't
Absolutely.
rap anymore? You thought Igor wasn't rapping? Let me rap on a West Side Gun beat on the first song of this
Dude,
album."
for real. For real.
And this is one of those sometimes an album is formed how much you like it is formed by your experience listening to it in the time period. I was on an internship, like, not in America during the summer doing that, and it's
Yeah.
just, like, it was the soundtrack to my summer. Saw it in concert, was one of the best shows I've ever seen, and
Yeah. He's a performer.
bro, he's just the man. He's the best, and everything he drops. If you wanna be a fan of an artist and not be disappointed, like, if you're a Playboi Carti fan, we were saying before, it must be really annoying when he teases an album and doesn't drop it. Tyler has dropped every 2 years on the dot every summer. This year, he skipped it, but he dropped the deluxe of Call Me If You Get Lost, so he still kept up with
Which
the
is
every
very
2-year
solid.
timetable. And
Yeah.
yeah, I played Hot Wind Blows with Lil Wayne. I really would love for Tyler to produce a whole album for Wayne because I think it'd be incredible. Uh, I played a lot. I've listened to a lot of the songs in the gym to get me hyped up, and even the 9-minute song, like, "I thought you wanted to dance."
Oh
He
my god. Banger.
he's it's crazy
Banger.
because he knows he's bad at singing, but he's learned how to mix his voice in a way that he can sing whenever he wants to, and I mean, even
Yep.
Earthquake, it's not a good singing song. It's his number 1 hit. It's his number 1 song ever.
Yep.
So, shout out to Call Me If You
Absolutely.
Get Lost. Love that one.
Dude, call me if you get lost. Like I said, it was so close to being in my top 5. Like, I wanted to so
Yeah,
bad. I went back and forth, and I love the album. I think there's so many the highlights of it are so high for me, and
yeah,
I love Sweet. I Thought You Wanted to Dance. That's a great
yeah.
song. I love, um, that he brought in NBA YoungBoy and made him sound good
He similar
on
to
a
Kanye, he knows who to get as a feature on the
crazy,
song.
man. Like, and then, like you
"What
already
is her
mentioned it,
name?
Hot
What are
Wind
you doing?"
Blows.
Mm,
That beat goes so hard, especially with Lil Wayne on there.
it's crazy.
He's a mastermind in making people and his features sound good, I feel like, and like you said, he can do what the fuck he wants. He has that attitude and he brings it and he delivers. He's a
Very confident
genius in
dude.
music. Like, honestly, like he is so solid sound. Like, I
Yeah.
love his music, so absolutely. All right, going to number 2 for me, I have probably gonna surprise some people. I have The Melodic Blue by Baby Keem. Very
Wow.
high, and it's
No, Baby
definitely
Keem fans
biased.
love that album, I get it.
I I loved this album. I've been a fan of Baby Keem. I was on him early. I remember all the old mixtapes and stuff like that, and there was little glimpses here and there where you saw, like, mad potential from him,
Mhm.
and I feel like we finally saw, like, a put together album that
Yeah,
showed everything he's capable of, the versatility, the anthem songs, Family Ties, his verse
banger,
on that song is nuts, like,
sorry.
just nuts, just goes off, and then we have more vulnerable songs, 16,
Mhm.
Scars, Issues, Lost Souls, his song with Brent Faiyaz, that goes hard. I mean,
Brent Faiyaz always gives a good chorus. That's
I know, and
and it
he's
yeah,
just
it
like
is
it's kind of a cheat code at this point if you have Brent Faiyaz on a song.
yeah. Is that the song where he goes like, "And we're all ballin' like I'm rich, Paul." Is that one?
No,
"Ballin' like Rich
Lost
Paul"?
Souls is like, "Dying like a thief in the night."
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah.
There's a
So,
song on the deluxe that's also Brent that he's I don't know, but go on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. I don't know. I love that album, and like I said, it's probably biased, but I
Hey,
think
it's a
it
biased
really
list.
showed what he is capable of and what I think I'm really excited for his next album because I think
Yeah.
it's coming out soon,
I think it's
whether
called
it's a collab album with Kendrick
yeah.
or
I think it's
whether
called
it's just
Child with
him.
Wolves. He teased it, Child
Yeah.
with Wolves or something, Raised by Wolves.
Yeah.
I have a hot take for you about this album. Family Ties. I don't really like Kendrick's verse.
I don't I am gonna agree with you. I think it's a little overrated.
I like the
It's a
voice he
little
does.
awkward.
"Come
It's a
here,
little
brother."
awkward.
Like, it's fun, but, I think Baby Keem, I love it. Another gym song for me. Kendrick's
Yeah.
is but Vent,
I've
I
there's
like
been
Vent.
times where I've skipped Kendrick's part before.
Yeah, hey, this is a safe place. And I really this is on the deluxe. I love the song Hooligan. That's my favorite,
Yeah,
Baby Keem song.
Hooligan's fun.
Like,
Hooligan, I'm on the
yeah,
way.
and the music video is really cool. So,
Yeah.
love that one. I think
Yep.
I'm more into Baby Keem. I think I owe this album more listens.
Dude, there's like even when I was re-listening it today, like there's some songs I'm just like, dude, like how did I not like listen to this
Yeah,
more? Like this is just and there's a lot of like it's cool because I feel like you go from like anthem musics like Trademark USA and
yeah,
Pink Panties and there's just so many songs that I feel like are anthem and then you get your more melodic, so
yeah. I think my only wish would be for him to I guess he does change up his style a lot. I think, like, the way he raps can sometimes get
get
old
annoying.
for me. Yeah, like, a little bit, like, doing the
Yeah.
voice. But he's a versatile dude. His cousin's Kendrick. I'm sure he'll come in with some new flows, brother. Gotta stay patient, brother. For me
I love it. I
for
love it.
me, number 2, I feel like this might be your number 1 based on process of elimination, but I could be wrong, could not have made your list at all. It's my GOAT, J. Cole, The Offseason, at number 2.
Ooh, okay.
And it's Cole I feel like so KOD is the most unnecessarily hated album for no reason. I
Oh,
think it's
I've
so
been
incredible,
preaching that for years. For
and
years.
I've done so many takes on my podcast about it. It's an incredible album, and people need to shut up. That
Ahead of
being
its
said,
time.
yeah, I think Cole saw people's maybe response to his conceptual album. I don't think he listens to fans. That being said, he said, "Let me come back and just spit bars for you all," and delivered. And it's biased, obviously. This is a top 5 list for me, but I'm a Cole stan. He spit even songs that didn't grow me at first, like Amari on first listen. I was like, "What is this?"
Oh,
One of my favorite Cole songs ever now.
yeah.
And even though it's not my favorite on the album, 100 Mil, I was like, "What is this song?" But now I
Mhm.
listen to it, and, like, he just doesn't make bad songs to me. Like, he
No.
can't do any wrong in my eyes. Even his
Yeah.
bad song, it comes around. He's
Yeah.
spitting. The rollout was sick. I pray that we get It's a Boy and then the fall off, and my goat's gonna keep doing goat things. It's a good person to have as your goat. He delivers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Recently had another guest on. He has his own, platform, Honeybee Reviews, and he was saying J. Cole is at his peak right now
I agree.
with all the features, and I mean, like, some
He's
people
getting
might
better.
consider that a hot take, but, like, look at it, man. Like, the
I think
man is not missed on a feature in a very long time.
I think other people got complacent, and, like, not that Kendrick's getting worse, but
No.
he drops so, like, infrequently that's hard to tell. He drops every, like,
Yeah.
4 years or whatever it is. Drake,
Mhm.
it's not that he's worse. Drake is just
He
whatever, man. He makes playlists.
he's just doing
Even
his own thing, yeah.
even on Scary Hours 2 that he just dropped when he's, like, trying to spit bars, he does, like, the same flow the whole time. He heard Cole in The Secret Recipe and was like, "Oh, I can do that too." But, like, Cole didn't waste a bar on The Secret Recipe. 'Cause when
Yeah.
you do that one rhyme scheme thing, it's very easy to throw a corny bar in there because it fit with the rhyme scheme. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, it's okay not to rhyme every word, and that's something I've learned making music myself. I've tried to do like an MF Doom, fit every syllable to rhyme, and sometimes it's take a break, but Cole is just getting better. He talks about in his documentary, he treats it like basketball. He
Yeah.
said he puts himself through drills. He treats this like, "Let me actually get better at it." And while a lot of artists might think of it as a hobby or something I'm just, like,
Yeah.
naturally good at, you gotta work at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I mean, this album, it was another one, like, I made a list somewhere, I don't know where it is in my house, but it was on the list. Like, I definitely considered it for sure. The thing for me, though, like, would you consider this and this is tough, like, this is I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, like, this is kind of unfair, but, like, would you consider this a top 3 J. Cole album?
I mean, it's For Your Eyes Only, 2014 are my interchangeable top 2. Then next, I mean, like, Friday Night Lights and Born Sinner and KOD and this are, like, the next 4 out 3 out. I'm not sure how many I just named. So, it's hard, but that's how good he is. He's got a lot of he's
I
got a lot of
know.
albums. I don't
I
know.
know.
It
It's
probably
just
wouldn't be
tough.
top 3.
I don't know, like, it's arguable for me. I just, I don't know. Like, for the first, like, year and a half, I went back to it a lot,
Mhm.
and I've started back again lately, but for a while there was a stretch where I feel
Yeah.
like I just wasn't replaying it a whole lot. So
I get it from someone like, I'm just a Cole stan, so it's just home
I mean,
rotation.
I'm a Cole fan. Like he's consistently like Spotify numbers, like he's consistently one or two, maybe
Mhm.
three. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm curious.
Maybe that was a what's it called? Like when you have the other side of bias where you go the other opposite way.
Not
I don't know what it's
confirmation
called,
bias.
but
Yeah, but now I'm
whatever.
curious about your number 1. I thought it was
My
gonna be the
number
Offset.
one, you have mentioned it.
Oh, I
It
did.
is The
Oh, the
Forever
Forever Story.
Story.
Okay, number 1. I respect
Yeah,
it.
I fucked with this album heavy. I just thought, like you said, like the voice fluctuations, the storytelling, like it hit everything you could ever want, and it's so
Yeah,
replayable too. Like there's so
it's
many
great.
songs I can go back on, and there's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really love this album. He followed up the Forever Story or
DiCaprio too, and the Never Story.
DiCaprio too. My bad. The DiCaprio too, just perfectly because that's a
Yeah,
great album too. So
yeah. I got to so I'm a Jid stan also, so I got to meet him my senior year of high school after right before DiCaprio 2 came out. He was doing a meet and greet at a Verizon store in Philadelphia. Met him. He was the man. I was much taller than him, which is a funny thing to do because like, he's my hero. I'm like, "Whoa, I'm a lot taller than you." And that's my goal interview of the year. I wanna get JID on, so putting it out in the
that'd
universe.
be dope. That'd be hella dope.
But yeah, he's the
Yeah.
GOAT. He's the man. My number 1, you mentioned it also, but it was on your, outside list. Alfredo, Freddie Gibbs. I'm a
Ooh,
huge Freddie Gibbs fan, and
Gibbs is nice. I think I've heard that actually. Watching your content, I think I
yeah,
remember that.
I said it to someone, and they were very upset. They're like, "Not top 5." I'm like, "He's my top 5." This album, I've replayed in so many different settings. It's good for a car ride, it's good for the gym. You got I just think he's just so skilled at rapping, and the beats are amazing, and
The features are fucking great on
Con
this. Like everyone delivered.
I mean,
Everyone delivered.
sad that him and Benny are no longer, on good terms, but Benny said, "I sold lines to abusers, now I abuse y'all with lines." Oh my lord, dude, and Conway on that song, Babies and Fools, I'm really bad with song titles, yeah, Babies and Fools, incredible. Tyler on that song, blanking on the
Yep.
name,
Something
amazing.
to rap about, I believe.
Something to rap about. I wish I had my thing. Because my phone's my camera, I can't look it up, but
Yeah.
I I replay this album so much. I think Freddie is one of the best artists ever. Bandana, Alfredo, SSS was all that would have been, like, another honorable mention. SSS.
SSS. You liked SSS?
Wasn't his best album, but it's Freddie Gibbs to me, like, I just think he's so skilled at rapping, and yeah, I can't wait for
Yep.
Montana with Madlib, the next
Let me
follow.
pull
Oh,
this
here
up
we go.
for you.
Oh, that's
There's
awesome,
a
you can
track
do
list
this.
for you.
So let's I'm gonna go through 1985. What Freddie does so well is he always includes current events. So like when 1985 dropped, that's like when the Michael Jordan documentary came out,
Yeah.
and he's like rapping about that. God is perfect in the gym, always. Scotty Beam, Rick Ross killed that. Look at me, dope beat. That's like one of the lesser like talked about songs probably on that album, but like great short song. Frank Lucas, yuck. Gross. Someone to rap about. Amazing. Baby Shit. Played at the gym like almost every single day of my life. Babies and Fools. Amazing. Skinny Shug. Oh my lord, what a song. He talks about selling dope to his uncle. Selling dope to a person who sold dope to his uncle who overdosed on it. It's one of those songs where I feel weird talking about it because it's such an emotional song, and I'm saying I enjoy it. It's like
Yeah.
watching like it's like watching like a
Like
mob
watching a movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Like and like Pusha T talks about that. He said he's the Martin. It's almost dry. Should have been my top 5. Damn it. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that was another one that I looked at. That's a hella good
I
album.
love
Very underrated.
I love Push. And All Glass, he said, "I got my Yeezys on, but I had never seen a Sunday service." What a way to finish the album up. 10 tracks, how modern hip hop should be. I
Yep.
think 40 minutes about, no filler, just
You
how
got
mu what we had, 10 songs,
35
35
minutes.
minutes?
35 minutes.
Perfect. It's hard, especially, like, doing my podcast, I'm always trying to stay up to date on, like, the artists I love and then also finding new artists. So an album like this was just being replayed constantly, easy to listen to. Shout out to Freddie Kane.
Absolutely.
And he should have got the
Love it.
Grammy for it. I'm not sure who beat him for that year, but it's fine. He said, "My"
2020.
he said, "My name's Gangster Gibbs, they won't put me in the nominees," and then he got nominated. 2020,
Yeah.
who'd he go? I think it was Nas. which they were just giving Nas that
King's
because
King's Disease or
2,
no.
1, 2, one of them. It was
Yeah,
King's Disease though,
yeah.
which is I get it. Give Nas his flowers. He deserves it. They messed him
Especially
up
as
with
a
it.
50-year-old. I
They
mean,
didn't give
that's
it. They didn't give it to
crazy.
Illmatic. They owed it to him.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Alright, so next segment, also new. We are gonna do our Hall of Fame, yay
Yeah
or
or nah.
nay. Basically, my whole premise was this is like NFL, you
I
get this
get it.
induction. MLB, you get this induction. NBA, you get this induction. Where's the
Yeah,
induction for the Hip Hop Hall of Fame?
yeah. They just have
There's
it's just
nothing.
rock. It's just rock and roll.
Like,
No,
there's
the issue with
nothing
the
for it. They should have it. I mean, there's Hall of Fame museums that
yeah,
you can find and you can go to, but there's nothing.
yeah,
There's no there's nothing. So
yeah,
we're gonna present these awards
yeah,
and we're gonna give, our thoughts to this.
yeah,
We're gonna present them to everyone and, we're gonna start our
yeah.
own Hall of Fame. So,
I'm down. Wait, I'm curious. Just an NFL take that I made to my friends this week because all my friends are Giants fans.
yeah.
Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
Oh my god,
Because
this went in our fantasy group chat too.
because he
Oh,
has the
it's tough.
stats and he has the Super Bowls, but was he ever top 5 at his position at any point in his
That
career?
that's my point. That's my point. To me, for
You
you
can't.
to be
He's gonna get in, but
for me, for you to be in the Hall of Fame, you need to be top 3 to top 5, depending on your position, top 3
yeah,
to top 5 in your position for not just 1 year, for numerous years, for like 2,
yeah.
3 years.
He wasn't on the all-decade team. Like, he didn't even sniff that.
No.
Like, it sucks, but, like, you play with
Well, what I
Brady,
love to
Peyton
look at, how many all-pro teams did he make?
is it 0?
I don't know. I don't
Oh.
know those stats off the top of my head. I mean, I can look it up. Eli Manning. Let's do this real quick. Eli Manning,
Sorry for this detour,
all-pro.
but I was curious. Your thoughts on that.
Alright,
I
let's
would
see.
guess it's 0. I would guess it's 0.
'Cause, like, everyone's like, "Oh, Pro Bowls don't matter," which reasonably so, I agree, but,
Yeah.
like
I mean, Matt Ryan is an MVP. Like, we're gonna put him in the MV we're gonna put him I mean, he had a hard he's a Manning, so he's gonna get in. But
yeah, yeah,
and the
okay, here we
NBA
go.
Hall of Fame is the easiest to make because Reggie Miller's in there, and he has, like, 4 All-Star games.
Eli Manning was never all-pro.
Like, what are we talking about here? I'm a Giants hater, though, so it's definitely
Yeah,
biased.
yeah. Alright,
Saquon, welcome.
I was gonna ask you about that. How hype are you for that?
See, I don't know if it will work out. He's a running back. Howie does not pay for running backs. That being said, it's hilarious
Oh, it's
because
absolutely hilarious. It's a slap in the face.
like,
Slap in the
I
face to the Giants that they
I
have to
saw
face him twice a year,
our
every year.
cap hit for Jalen, Devontae, Saquon, and AJ is less than the cap hit for Daniel Jones. That's hilarious.
That's
You guys choose to
nuts.
pay a bad quarterback and not the face of your franchise. Let's go, baby. Go Birds.
That's nuts. Yeah, that's Giants fans are crying right now. Alright. Jay-Z, yay
Goat.
or nay? I wanna start out with a few easy ones here,
Yeah, yeah.
alright?
Like,
Get
he's the
you suited in here. Jay-Z, make the case, yay or nay?
greatest rapper of all time. Yay.
Ooh,
I think he's the
he
greatest rapper
said
of all
greatest of all time, okay.
Yeah, might not be my favorite. He is the greatest. He's the best at this
Interesting.
at this art of
Over
rapping
Nas?
over Nas. I'm like, Nas is amazing. I'm not, like, the biggest Nas fan. Like, I love Illmatic, but, like,
Yeah.
he's great. I'm not gonna say anything negative about Nas,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
Hove.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, this one's easy, like I said. Like, it's
Yeah,
iconic, albums after albums that are just beautiful. I mean, you can dig deep in those albums and just find songs that you hadn't heard
yeah.
before that are just
It's
freaking
interesting
incredible.
that, like, we're listening to music in a non-linear fashion. We're going back into the past and listening to it. So it's funny that, like, certain songs I hate were, like, huge Jay-Z songs, and certain songs I love, people are like, "Oh, those are whack Jay-Z songs." So, like, there's a song called "Change Clothes" on the Black Album, and I don't think
Yeah,
it's produced by Pharrell, and I don't think fans loved it at the time. I'm obsessed with it. I love "Change Clothes." So it's interesting going back in time listening to music because
absolutely.
I have a different opinion than, like, the current it's like someone in 20 years talking about KOD and they love it, and they're like, "Is that the best Cole album?" And they're like, "It was always 2014 when I was growing up."
Yeah, no, for real. No, that's a good point you bring up though, because, like, that'll happen for sure.
Mhm.
Like, people like Imagine somebody like, I don't think this is gonna happen. I swear to fucking God it doesn't happen. But, like, imagine somebody, like, 15 years from now is like, "Bro, Tekashi 6ix9ine slapped, bro."
Yeah,
Like, he was so, so good.
he had
Like,
bangers.
banger after banger. Like, could you imagine? Like, that'd be I
I
don't
was
know.
a I was a that was my big, like, lyrical miracle, like, really into 90s hip hop phase when I was in high school, so I was very anti Tekashi 6ix9ine. I did not
Oh,
listen
yeah.
to any of that.
Oh, yeah. Alright, going to J. Cole. Yay or nay?
Goat.
I already know
Get him
this
in.
one.
Get him in.
Get him in. Alright, make the case for him.
Top 3 of an entire generation for a decade, and that longevity. It's
I
it's
like
Cole
that.
it's Cole,
Uses
Drake.
exactly what I just brought up
Yeah,
into this conversation. I love it.
it's Cole, Drake, and Kendrick for an entire decade. That is so hard to do, especially in this era, and they're still going. People are like, "Who is the next person in hip hop?" They ain't done.
Yeah.
They're still going. Now you can rap into your old. That wasn't a thing. People didn't rock and roll artists didn't tour or did tour a lot back then. Like, people
Yeah.
really respected old rock bands. Hip hop is just turning 50 years old last year. So now we're seeing for the first time ever artists who are in their 50s rapping.
Yeah.
444 by Jay-Z. I think that's a top 3
Dude,
Jay-Z album to
banger,
me. So who
banger.
knows? Cole says this is his last album. I in no way believe that, and I
He's
think
got
he'll
too much in store.
he's just
There's
too good
no
at
way.
rapping. What are you gonna just quit and do what? Like, he's too good at music. So yeah, Cole,
Yeah.
get him in there.
No. I agree. Completely agree. I think, like, we're gonna be looking at albums like 2014 Forest Hills Drive as a I mean, I think it already is a classic.
I
It's
think it's a
been
cla
10 years.
I
I
think
think we
that
can consider it a
and
classic now.
For Your Eyes Only, that might be a personal bias. I think it's one of the best albums
I
ever.
lo For Your Eyes Only is my favorite album of all time,
Yeah.
like, period. I just
Cha
think
Change is my favorite Cole song. For Your Eyes Only, the song is debatably his best song, and
just
Immortal,
beautiful. I mean, it's just
yeah,
so well put together. I think it competes with any album that you could put as, like, the greatest album of all
yeah.
time. That's my favorite, for sure.
I usually say To Pimp a Butterfly. I think that's the best. That being said,
I do
I'm
too. I think To Pimp a Butterfly, For Your Eyes Only, you a lot of people would argue if you pull something from the '90s, I'd probably pull, like, Illmatic. I mean, that's pretty
yeah.
cliché, right? But, like,
No, but it's there.
there's a reason it's cliché.
The Black Album by Jay-Z, Midnight Marauders, Tribe Called Quest, I really love.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, we could do that forever.
Exactly, exactly. 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang Clan.
Oof. Ooh, Tang. Ooh. Who
Alright,
we
let's go to our next
who we
one.
got?
This one's a little bit this is where it gets a little dicey. Schoolboy Q just dropped
No.
recently, Blue Lips. What do
I
you
saw
think? Is he
someone
in?
I saw someone tweet this. No, he's not in. That it's not like this isn't the NBA Hall of Fame where we just let everybody in who has a great classic out. Some people say oxymoron or blank face classics. I just don't think he has the cultural impact to be. That
I
being said,
agree.
Blue Lips, fire. Little too many beat changes on the album. Sometimes I'm
So
like
you
liking it.
liked it.
I did like it. Thank God for
You
Me
think
has
it's
been
album of the year?
that or Boldy James. I play Thank God for Me whenever I start every car ride and every single time I walk into the gym. I'm obsessed with that song.
Okay.
Pop, cool ass song to start an album, like oof, dirty. And Blue Slides. He starts the album really well. And
Yeah,
sometimes there's just a few too many like the song with Freddie Gibbs, too many beat changes on it.
yeah. I like the
Sometimes
Freddie I like the Freddie Gibbs song, but I see what
I
you're
don't
saying for sure.
yeah.
I mean,
Do you think
I don't know.
do you think it's Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame, no, but I think, like, if he wanted to, I think he could possibly get there,
Yeah.
but I
I
don't
would
think he will.
yeah.
I going to the album though, I got a lot of hate for this because I said it was an above average album.
I
I
think
wasn't I wasn't a hu I think it was a little overhyped, like, Twitter
it was.
fans, like, saying, "Album of the year," like, no matter what comes out, and I'm like,
To his
the
credit,
schedule of releases that we have, I'm telling you, it's not
it's
gonna be
not
album of the year.
it's not. To his credit, it's because his rollout was so dope, because if you go 5 years without dropping an album, you better start doing a rollout. You can't just drop and expect people to come and be
Yeah,
excited for it, unless you're Kendrick. And
yeah,
he was interacting with fans on Twitter for a whole
I
month
saw
before
that.
it, and it was like if I was a manager, I would tell an artist, like, "Look how he did it," and he's a huge artist, like, "You have to be doing that." So fans were he was interacting with people like me who are hip hop Twitter folks, and
Yeah,
if an artist interacts with you, you like them more, and you're gonna like the album more. So that's just the signs of a great album rollout. But I do not think it will end up being top 5 for me at the end of the year. But I liked
yeah,
it.
yeah. I enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people got that twisted, like, with my rating of it,
Yeah,
but I was just like,
I get it.
it's not, like, something, like, moved by or, like,
Yeah,
crazy, crazy stuff, so
yeah.
alright, let's go to JID.
I mean, the biased side of me wants to say he's in the Hall of Fame. Ye
He's, I think, very, very close on the edge.
I think maybe the next album's the one that gets him in. So I'm gonna be unbiased for a second, take a step back from my him being my, like, 2nd favorite artist ever. I think, like, I love the Never Story, but, like, if I say it's a classic, it's probably just because I love the album. I'm not sure it's a classic.
Yeah,
So, I will say he needs the next album. Let's get it, baby. Let's get you in there.
I'll agree with you. I think he needs one more album like The Forever Story or DiCaprio 2 or The Never
Yeah,
Story, like, if it's up to par with his last 3, I think it's
yeah,
easily in. Like, the amount like, how quickly he's risen to stardom too is, like,
yeah.
crazy. Like, he's so talented. Like, he had all the technique, all the tools in the world to be in the Hall of Fame, but
Mhm.
I think he needs one more album. Next one, Nicki Minaj.
Yes. The best I hate, like, saying, like, female rapper thing because, like, there's some rappers who are women who are just as good as, like, Rhapsody, just as good as, like, any man.
Yeah,
She has been the queen of hip hop for a decade. Kinda same reasoning for Cole.
yeah,
I think she has to be in there. She's what you think of when you think of a female rapper. Once again, hate the term, but it's what you think
yeah.
of.
No, she's a pioneer for sure. I think that's we wanna talk about terms. I think she's a pioneer in creating this, like, almost, like, sassy rap, if you wanna say, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, she almost has her own style of rap that she brought
Sh
in, like, I
Yeah,
don't think there's a Cardi B or a Megan Thee Stallion without
yeah.
Nicki Minaj. You
They
know
have
what I'm
beef
saying? Like,
now, but I'm sure younger them would agree with that comment. And she
oh,
out-rapped
absolutely.
Jay-Z and Kanye West in the song "A Monster," like, one of the best
For
verses of all
real.
time.
She has some hard verses too, like,
Yeah,
she can bring it. She has the ability, like, we've seen like, some of her flows are crazy, dude.
yeah.
Like,
I
nuts.
play
Competes with some really, really good fucking rappers.
I keep saying, like, when I play in the gym, that's, like, where I listen to a lot of my music. "Feeling Myself"
Yeah.
with Beyonce, it's a banger. I play it.
Yeah.
It's for the women, but Feeling Myself, I like it.
I like that. Alright, next one. I know you like this guy too. Tyler, the Creator.
I think he has to be in. You don't get 2 Gr he's got 2 Grammys. Or
True.
2 Grammys. I think he has 3 classic albums in a row. I think he's on one of the craziest runs in hip hop history with, Flower Boy into Igor into Call Me If You Get Lost.
Yeah,
And we're talking about influence. Oh my lord, what, Odd Future people wish they could build what Odd Future built, and that's all him. That's his archetype, and it's probably done before that, but, like, his clothing brand, like, showing rappers that you can be interested in other stuff and
yeah.
be wildly successful off of that, he's a easy in for me.
I love it. I love everything you said. I also think, like, you look at 3 album runs, we talked about Cole. You could say there was a 3 album run with 2014 Forest Hills Drive
For Your Eyes
and
Only,
For Your Eyes
KOD.
Only, KOD.
What a
There's a take for it. There's a take for it.
and,
You
and I
look at
think
Kendrick,
it
you've
rivals
got
it
To
rivals
Pimp a
Kendrick's too,
Butterfly.
and
What's
Good
up?
Kid, Mad Ci it rivals Kendrick too, Good Kid, Mad City, T-Pab, then Damn.
Yep, and
I
then,
don't I don't think you can go
going
wrong.
back a little bit more old school, a very, very
Con
classic one, Eminem, some Shady
Eminem.
LP, Marshall Mathers
Yeah,
LP, and then, finishes it off with the Eminem Show, I believe.
Eminem's, yep, and then Kanye West. Kanye probably has the best 3 album run, but
It's
yeah,
tough.
Tyler's up he's in. He's up there.
I was definitely in because, like, 3 album runs, if you have a successful 3 album run like that, like, you gotta be in, like,
Yeah,
and he did, and what's crazy to me about him, you mentioned it a little bit, like, who else can say, "Fuck it, I'll make a pop album," and then go, "Nah, fuck it, you think I make different music now? Watch me rap."
yeah,
Does it. It makes all 3 great albums. I don't know, he just to me, he's one of those guys that is, like, not focused on like, he just does what he wants. Like, he doesn't give a shit what other people think from the beginning. I mean,
He's so
he had a
himself.
lot of drama about him, right? And he's evolutionized his sound. Like,
Yeah,
we've seen an evolution from the beginning, from what he first started with to now. Like, I wasn't a Tyler fan when I first heard
yeah.
him, not at all. Like, I thought he was whack as shit, right? Like, a lot of people did. Now he's one of my favorite artists.
I
Like,
think
I fucking love his music.
if you go back to his old music, you could always tell he was really good at music, and he was just rapping in, like, a young Eminem way where he was saying, like, very
Yeah,
shocking material. If you go back,
definitely,
you could see that, like, he was producing all that stuff too. It was amazing, and
definitely.
Flower Boy is when he says it on Call Me If You Get Lost, but he's like, he hit puberty late and kind of had that mental maturity late, and it brought one of my favorite albums ever with Flower Boy.
Yeah, I think that's a great parallel with Eminem, honestly. The whole, like, shock rap,
Yeah,
I guess what you say, like, definitely see the parallel there.
yeah.
Definitely.
Like Yonkers, like, he was just having fun. I don't even think he expected Yonkers to go crazy and
No.
stab Bruno Mars in the goddamn esophagus, and it's like, relax."
Yeah. Or Six Flags, and I won't say the next line.
Yeah.
Uh, alright, going to our next one, Mac Miller.
That song's really good though, that last the
It
last
is
thing
a
you
good
I
song.
really
It is
like
a
that song.
very good song.
Mac Miller, yes, sir, put him in there. Put him in. If we're talking about best discographies in hip hop history, complete discographies,
Ooh.
this man, I mean, you got let's go, Swimming, Circles, Faces, Good AM, Divine Feminine, Kids. It's one of those artists that if you ask people their top 3, I think everyone would have a different top 3. Not many
Yeah,
artists can say that. If you ask a Jake and I said I'm a J. Cole stan. You ask a J. Cole fan, every single person probably has 2014 and For Your Eyes Only
yep,
in the top
yep.
3. Mac Miller, you're gonna get a different answer every time.
It's
Similar
a
to
good point.
Tyler, his influence on other artists, you don't get Vince Staples if you don't there's no Mac Miller. I don't know if you get
Yeah,
Earl Sweatshirt. I don't know if you get Chance the Rapper. These are all Schoolboy Q. These are all people that he gave free studio time to and, like, made beats for free for them.
yeah.
And yeah, he's just a fucking legend. I'm obsessed with Mac Miller. I got him behind me somewhere. Yes, swimming.
Dude, complete artist to me. Like, I just think like,
Great.
I talked about evolution with Tyler, there's an evolution with Mac. He started out with, like,
Frat
basically
rapper,
frat
yeah.
rap, and now we're seeing projects like Swimming in Circles. Like, are you
He was
kidding me? Like, that's
26
just
years old.
dope, bro.
He was
That's just
26. I think when JID dropped The Never Story, he was 27. Mac Miller was
yeah,
26 when he passed away. It's
that's
insane
nuts.
what that man would have kept making and who he would have worked with. Whenever I think about that, it's just like, fuck, because
It's sad as shit is
it's
what it
so
is,
sad.
because like, it's really a shame. Like, he was so talented to me. We talked about, like, multiple like, you look at Kanye and, like, everyone talks about his artistry and then also being able to be a great producer, like, his ability to select production and make a story out of production,
Like,
underrated.
the Blue Worlds beat, how
Hella
does
underrated.
so, I heard the sample for Blue World when I was listening to, like, jazz radio when I was doing studying, and I screenshotted it because 'cause I'm like, "If I ever make beats, this is a cool thing to sample." Then months later, I hear that song, I'm like, "What did he even, like how did he even think to make this beat?" Like, he cut it up in such a way,
Yeah,
and he's an insane man. He played all the instruments, and what a goat. We lost one of the best
we
ever.
lost a real one. Yeah, he's definitely in. And I don't know if I said Tyler was in or not, but I
Yeah,
also agree
yeah,
he's in. So we've got all those in. All
yeah.
right, next one. ASAP Rocky.
Okay. So, I know there's a lot of very, very, very big A$AP Rocky fans out there that will
There are.
hmm, is he in?
This one's tough for me, and
It's a
I can't explain why.
No, this is really tough because Schoolboy Q was an easier, like, no for me, but fuck, because like, at long last, ASAP is, like, such a famous album, and, I mean, Testing's great, and hmm, for my personal taste, I don't know if I would say he's in, but I think he might be objectively in from, like,
Okay.
a wider point of view.
Yeah. He also has
This Don't Be Dumb album could be the one that, like, it's like, "Okay, he's in." But he's been
could
teasing it for, like
solidify solidify him in
he's
it.
been teasing it for 2 years. Uh, I think he's in the Rap Hall of Fame.
Okay. I think I'm
I
gonna
think
slide him in as well. Like you said, I think when you're watching a basketball game and they're kind of teetering on that lead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
he's there.
he's kind of teetering on that lead, and then
Yeah.
he hits that three to hit the dagger,
Yeah. I'm
and
down
you
for
hear
it.
Mike Breen go bang. That's what you hear. That's what you hear when this next album comes out. So I think
Down for it.
he's got a good discography. I just think he needs one more
One more
album to
one more
solidify him,
productive
but
season.
I think he's in. Like, if he were to retire today, I think people would be like, "It's good enough," you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It was a good career. But his next album, I think, will be fire. He's someone who just takes risk, and he does not care. Makes very weird albums,
Definitely.
and that's awesome. We
He's
love weird
he's
shit.
experimental. He loves to like, he's not one of those people that, like, exactly what to expect from him.
I have
You
no clue.
don't. No clue what direction. We've seen him go super melodic. We've seen him go more like your cutthroat
Yeah.
New
He
York,
also
East Coast
he
style rap too.
he has the best music videos of any artist ever. So you know
Yeah.
what? That might
He
get him
puts a
in
lot of time in. Yeah.
because the ASAP Forever video is, I think, is the coolest video ever, and all of his videos are very trippy and amazing. Shout out to
ASAP
Rocky for
Forever is
caring.
a dope ass
You know,
song. I love that song.
if I was married to Rihanna, I don't know if I'd be making music either. I might just be chilling out at home
Yeah,
and hanging out with
I
her.
like that. Yeah. All right, going to Ludacris.
So this is one of those ones that, we're younger people,
Culturally.
so I don't know if we know the impact of it. That I think he's in. I don't know his albums, but that being said, I know of his cultural impact and that he does have classic albums to people who were in 2000 to 2006. Like, we look at him as an actor, like the guy who was in, like, Fast and Furious,
Yeah.
but I think he's in for the cultural impact and, like, that music that I don't know of that is so great. There's a reason why he is so famous.
Yeah, the reason I threw this one in is because this is more of a guy to me is like he has more of a cultural impact than anything. And like he's
Yeah,
one of those guys where you'll just like he'll randomly have a feature on songs, right? Like he just
yeah,
randomly appears and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's ludicrous." So I think he's in just for that. Like everyone like knows who he is
yeah,
and he's very famous for that. I haven't like dove super deep into like his albums like you were kind of
yeah.
saying, but it'd
He's
be
really good at
interesting.
rapping. There's a reason why he's so
Yeah,
famous. Like, he's good at
yeah.
rapping.
All right. Next one. Peggy.
I'm not a Peggy fan.
Really
So,
interesting.
he's a very easy no for me, and he was coming at Freddie Gibbs, so he's gotta relax with that. Um,
Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
yeah,
No,
no,
I've recently started to get into JPEG Mafia. I won't lie. I think it depends on who you talk to. Like, if you talk to Anthony Fantano, like, he's gonna have, like, a jizz fest over this
yeah,
guy.
he
Like,
love
he
he loves him.
loves
Yeah,
Peggy. And, I
don't
mean, he's one of those people who's, like, crazy, crazy production, like,
yeah,
just
yeah,
in your face, right? Like, just loud
yeah,
soundscapes with these crazy samples, and
yeah. He's good at what he
I think
does, it's just not for me. Uh,
I think he's one of those people that's, like, kind of a nerd's favorite, like a super,
yeah, yeah,
super nerd. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you kinda have to have the type for it. And that's kinda why I brought him up because he's a different animal. Like, he's not like a typical rapper. Like, I would
yeah,
not show this to somebody if they're like, "Yo, like, if you want a recommendation, who do you want?" Like, I'm not gonna show 'em a JPEG Mafia song,
yeah.
personally.
No, yeah,
Like, I feel like that would scare them away, honestly.
scaring the hoes, he was scaring me. I'm the hoe.
Yeah.
I was I was scared away from
Not a
that.
fan of that?
Nah, it wasn't for me. I like Danny Brown, wasn't for me.
Okay. Alright. I respect it, though, because a lot of hip hop heads are gonna be like, "Nah, Peggy's so great." So,
Yeah,
I respect it. I'll also say no, though, for now. I think he could have potential influence, though. He could get there, in my opinion.
yeah.
Just from respect from, like, other rappers. So, Cardi B.
Hmm. So, had one of the biggest albums of all time with her last album. She just needs more music, and she's dropping soon. And at this point, she's kind of become similar to Ludacris, just like a public figure because she is such a big personality. She just only has one album out, but if she dropped more, she had that case for running the whole game when she was at her peak. Sorry, Cardi, you're not in yet.
Not in yet. I agree. I think
She raps though, like her song with
she can rap. She can definitely rap. Like, I think the ability is there. Um,
she's fun. the album was so commercially popular. Like,
To me, what's tough though with her is I feel like she makes at times she can make almost more like pop rap music, which I know
yeah,
that's like technical, right? But it feels like she definitely. I mean, I don't know. At times, you could argue Drake struggles with this too, is like making
yeah,
mainstream hits. Like I feel like she's very focused on that and not always like the actual music part of it. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, definitely.
So okay, last one. I know you said you weren't a big fan of him earlier, Denzel Curry.
hmm Similar to like I don't think he's one album away, but he's a very, very good rapper for a generation. I just don't know if he has a classic album. If that's what we're looking at as like MVP awards or like an all pro.
I think he's one of those
Very
people
great
that have
rapper.
like a really loyal fan base and like loyal fan base similar to like I don't know, like we talked about Peggy. Like he has a very loyal fan base,
Yeah,
right? And I think he's gonna have a very loyal fan base, but I don't know if he'll ever actually get the recognition like he
yeah,
deserves. Mel I See Your Future didn't even get a Grammy nomination.
yeah.
Neither did the Forever Story, but like no
That
one's
was
talking about
crazy.
that, right? Like
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
So
similar fan base. I look at him as like a Dreamville type artist. Same way I look at like
yeah,
Saba's a Dreamville type artist and Smino, and those guys
yeah,
have such strong fan bases. So if I post a clip into a Denzel Curry Reddit board of this stuff, like you get interactions, and that's all you
yeah,
can really ask for. There's artists who like you would rather be able to tour for a decade than
yeah,
have a big, huge song, but like don't have a strong fan base. You would
absolutely.
Some artists would die to have that strong of a fan base.
Definitely. Definitely. I think it's just like well, I guess not always. I was gonna say I feel like you have to have talent, but there's definitely some people who don't have as much talent as
Yeah.
they get credit for from their fan base. So Cardi, Playboy Cardi. All right. So
Yeah.
what did I say that? I didn't mean to. All right. Let's talk about your Eagles for a sec. Let's just talk some
Yeah.
sports real quick. What do you think of this free agency? Are you proud of your Eagles?
I mean, I don't know what Howie Roseman does with the cap, but that man is just a wizard with the cap. And everything, like people are like, oh, they gave Jalen Hurts a lot of money, but you know what? I think he's just going to keep restructuring it, and he'll figure it out. We lost Jason Kelsey, and we lost Fletcher Cox. Shout out to Fletcher. But when you lose that man of leadership, what do? You get Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner. You bring in the number one leader on your division rival, and that shows the team. If I play for that team, like, oh, we got Saquon Barkley, like,
Yeah.
because what a weird way to end the season. I don't know what happened. I don't think the players know what happened, but what a way to show that you're committed to winning a
Yeah.
Super Bowl. So I'm happy with it. I mean, we got Chauncey Gardner Johnson back, but like, I know like safeties are an issue. I'm not the best with like the specific positions of knowing like the X and O's of football, but like,
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, it's I think we're a great team.
Okay.
And like
Yeah.
the NFC has no quarterbacks. Like who's the best? It's either Hurts or Jordan Love now because he's one playoff win. Everyone's starting to love
Ooh,
the
you're not even
Packers.
giving Dak any credit?
Damn, this guy's ass. I'm a hater, obviously. I'm a Cowboys hater, but
Yeah.
the dude's not. He's you got to go to NFC. Even Kirk Cousins gone to an NFC Championship, and I cannot believe the Atlanta Falcons did that. What a wait! I'm not. I don't think that was the move. He's
They paid a
36
lot of money for him.
36
Yeah.
coming off an injury to a guy who's known for choking. Baker Mayfield low key has like the same career as him. I would have gone for
Ooh, bold takes. I like it. I mean, I see what you're saying with the quarterbacks.
NFC's bad. Like it's
What do
crazy
you
how
think
much
about
better.
Brock Purdy though? I'm asking you all of your rivals, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brock Purdy. I mean, he's obviously good.
Do you think
Like
he's
I'm not.
game manager?
I think one more year decides that. Coming off of losing a
Yeah.
Super Bowl, let's see like how you respond to that. I think it's unfair to compare him to Brady to be the GOAT. Like, oh, he's the last pick. He could also be the GOAT. And he did have an amazing team around him, but like you can't clown someone for having an amazing team around them. It's like
Yeah.
clowning people for like the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I remember people saying, "But their schedule is so easy. What do you want them to do? They're just beating the team that they had to play in the
Yeah. Yeah.
weekend."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy to me because it's like people are like calling him game manager and like not giving him like they're giving him all this flack, right? And it's like,
yeah,
dude, He's in his 2nd year. You do realize that, right? Like,
Same.
he
Dak can't
hasn't
Dak
even played like, this isn't his first full season still.
yeah.
Like, he hasn't
That
even
being
played a full season, like, that's crazy.
that being said, all the 49ers fans that complain about the NFC Championship that we won, you guys were never winning that game, and
I don't think so either. I
you
don't think so
shouldn't
either.
I forget who I think Hassan Reddick hurt him. You shouldn't put a tight end to block Hassan Reddick. That's what happens. You get knocked the fuck out. Like, he wasn't injured beforehand. They're like, "Oh, he slipped on a banana peel and he couldn't play."
Yeah.
He got rocked by how good a player was in the Eagles. It happens.
Okay, last question, since you went to Ohio State, Marvin Harrison, is he gonna be the greatest receiver of all time?
I feel like no. Like, there are so many great wi maybe he will be. There are so many great wide receivers now. Every year, a new amazing person pops up.
Yeah.
So, like, how much better could he be? That being said, maybe he's Justin Jefferson.
Do you think he's up to the hype, though? Or is he a
I
little
mean,
overhyped?
I guess he deserved it, everything he accomplished in college. Know what I'm mad about? CJ Stroud. Why are you so good now? You lost twice to Michigan, brother. Justin Fields is my quarterback. When I think of my college experience,
Ooh,
because I went
damn, okay.
2 years with Fields and
Yeah.
2 years with CJ. That being said, it's so awesome to see CJ be good, but it's like, dude, I mean, he showed up in the Georgia game, but, like, where was that against Michigan? I had to
Hey,
sit in
man,
that
just
stadium. The most embarrassing moment of my life was being in that stadium for the Michigan
yeah,
loss.
just be grateful that you've experienced great quarterbacks at your college. I went to Washington State,
Fair.
so we had, oh god, I'm blanking on his name before Cam Ward. Oh my god, he played at Arizona for a second, I can't remember his name.
Washington State, not positive. But two it's like Ohio State's known for having bad quarterbacks, so I did go to time for perfect quarterback play. That being said, we also beat Michigan for 10 years straight, and I happened to go to the only 4-year period where we lost to Michigan twice, and I only won once. I had a losing record against Michigan in my 4 years. It's
Yeah,
depressing, and they
Jaden
won the national
Delora, that's who it
championship.
is. God, he was
And if the
terrible.
Giants can draft JJ McCarthy, it would be so funny. I would love for them to draft him.
You want them to?
There's no way JJ McCarthy's gonna be good. So, like, yes, he's gonna be, like, praying bef what
You
is he
you
doing?
know where I think he's gonna go?
Where?
'Cause I think it makes sense, just, like, I can see him in those jerseys, is either the Broncos or the Vikings.
Could see it.
Yeah,
And
so
Caleb? Do you think Caleb's as good as people say?
it's weird how quickly the script flipped. I think the ceiling is there. The
Mhm.
potential is there, and I see, like, that's why people are hyping him up as much. He plays hero ball a lot, and I
Yeah,
think, like, that's something he's gonna have to change in the NFL because, like, that just doesn't work. Like, that
yeah.
just creates a lot of turnovers, and I think will lead to a lot of turnovers. He had a fumbling issue, that does ki kinda
Figure
gets
that
talked
out.
about here and there,
Yeah.
but, like, overall, do I think he's gonna be good? Yes. I think similar to, like, Trevor Lawrence, where, like, now, like, he's kind of
I'm a
like,
Trevor
he was
hater.
he was one of the most hyped up prospects ever. Like, if you
Yeah.
got Trevor Lawrence, like, your team is gonna be good, and now it's like,
It's okay.
he's alright, right? Like, I think there's potential for it to go that way, but I think that's, like, his floor. Like, I think he's going to be a
Good.
solid QB, but I think his ceiling is pretty high, but his
Yeah.
floor is also pretty
The
high,
the
so
Bears
we'll
have a
see.
defensive head coach, right? Matt Eberflus. Is he defense or
Yeah.
offense? You gotta draft
He's
you gotta
he's more defensive, but I
you
don't
need an
know.
off you
He
need an
just needs to be
offensive.
canned in general, so
Yeah. So his head coach can get fired within a year. You need an offensive head coach. Come on. Like, what are we doing
yeah,
now?
yeah,
In this modern NFL, Nick
yeah.
Sirianni, he might be fired. We'll see. I hope he's not. He panders to the city well, which
Yeah,
sometimes
I like
is
Nick Sirianni,
he's
honestly.
fun.
I think
When you're winning, it's lit. When you're losing, it looks really stupid what he
yeah,
does.
yeah, absolutely. Alright, buddy, well, I appreciate you coming on. It was
Of
a
course.
hella fun podcast, love talking hip
Yes.
hop with you, just I don't know, shooting the shit like that is just fun, so
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming on. Any last second plugs for you?
Yeah, you can find me Adam-DASH _ on Instagram, Twitter. Instagram is Soundcentric Music, and Twitter is Soundcentric Muse because music, someone stole that account already, crazily. And TikTok, I think is Soundcentric Music as well. And yeah, we got awesome interviews with writers artists. Um, I'm like blanking. It's getting late right now. I'm
You're
tired.
okay.
I'm yawning. Artists, producers, managers, writers, other content creators, and anything hip hop related. I love talking about it, as you could have seen in this episode, and you can see more. So yeah,
Love it.
there's my plug.
Love it. Absolutely. Everyone go check him out. He's got some good stuff. You got to go check it out. So appreciate everyone that listened this far and appreciate you, man.
Thank you, dog. This was so much fun.